In this first Black Mirror Season 5 episode breakdown, we're gonna be talking about the episode Rachel, Jack, and Ashley 2. And there's actually a lot from this episode that's actually going on in the music as well as the movie industry. What is up, everybody? This is Chris from The Rewired Soul, where we talk about the problem, but focus on the solution. And if you're new to my channel, what I like to do is take a look at movies, TV shows, what's going on in the YouTube community, try to see what lessons we can learn from them. So if you're into that stuff, make sure you subscribe and ring that notification bell. And yes, I've been waiting so long for Black Mirror. Like that episode Bandersnatch, where you got to choose your own path and stuff, that was pretty dope. But anyways, one of the reasons I love Black Mirror is because they do what I love doing, right? Like looking at society, looking at technology, looking at human behavior, seeing how things are going, but what they do is they project like, what are some possibilities that are happening in the future? So by the way, if you love some Black Mirror Season 5, like make sure you're subscribed because this is only the first video that I'm doing. I'm gonna be breaking down each episode and pulling different topics to see what we can learn from them. So real quick, I'm gonna run down this episode, give a quick synopsis. If you haven't seen it, there will be some spoilers, but you probably know that because the title of this video said Ending Explained. All right, so anyways, there is a young girl named Rachel, all right? And she is a huge fan of the pop star played by Miley Cyrus, and her name is Ashley. Rachel has a sister named Jack, and Ashley comes out with a brand new product called the Ashley 2. And this is a little robotic device that has Ashley, it's almost like her consciousness inside of there, and it's like AI and totally trained. So Rachel becomes friends with this little robot thingamajigger, and that's very helpful to her because she just moved to a new school, doesn't know anybody, doesn't have any friends. But Ashley is very like encouraging and positive and everything, kind of the way they mold pop stars, and Rachel's sister Jack doesn't really like all that stuff. But also, I'm going to be doing a whole separate video discussing the talent show aspect of it because there's definitely a topic that we can all take from that and learn from. But anyways, what we come to find out, Ashley, like many musicians who are in the pop industry, they're not happy with what they're creating. Ashley is pretty much being controlled by her aunt, and what happens is Ashley's aunt ends up finding out that Ashley hasn't been taking her medications and all of that, so she crushes them up, puts them in Ashley's food. Ashley goes into a coma. So what they end up doing is they end up tapping into Ashley's mind and pulling out all of her creativity and things like that, because what they realize is they don't really need Ashley. They can still make a boatload of money off of Ashley, all right? Ashley and Jack end up getting Ashley's real consciousness without the rev limiter into the little robot, find out what's going on. They rescue Ashley, and right when Ashley's aunt is about to release this huge project of like virtual Ashley that can do 1,000,000 tours and never get exhausted or anything like that, they go and they put a whole kibosh on it. And in the end credits, we see that Ashley is now finally free. She makes a little band with Jack, and now she can make the music that she likes, and I'm assuming Ashley's aunt went to prison for what she did, all right? So yes, what is this episode talking about, all right? This is actually something that has been coming up a lot in the music as well as the film industry, and it involves a conversation around ethics, okay? So, for example, talking about the movie industry, this is something that's been happening more and more often. Like, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and recently, in the Star Wars movie Rogue One, what they actually did was they did a CGI version of a actor who actually passed away, who was from the original movies, all right? And that was a conversation that a lot of people started having around ethics. Like, is it ethical to take an actor or an actress who has passed away and put them in a movie? Because with the way technology is now, with the way that they can not only make somebody look visually like they were, like even younger, but they can also do voice mimicking, right? Like they can recreate someone's voice. So they are recreating that character so much. And like the question is like, would that person have wanted you to do that? So what we see in the music industry, we see this on all sorts of levels. So one of them, I remember at, what was it, Coachella years ago, where they brought out the hologram version of Tupac, right? And they had Tupac on there, and everyone was like, yay, this is pretty cool. But then they wanted to do it more and more and more. So the conversation started to become like, is it ethical to recreate a dead musician and have them perform as a hologram. Something else that has come up when it comes to artists who have passed away is their music, right? So their unreleased music. I remember when Michael Jackson first passed away, he had, they were saying it was like a vault, right? He had a vault of music that was completely unreleased. Now, why did he not release it? Could have been a variety of reasons. Maybe he wasn't fully happy with it or anything like that, but they ended up not releasing all of the music, but they took some of that music and they did create a new album. Now, in the case of Michael Jackson, I believe, if memory serves me correctly, like Michael Jackson had massive debts that he had to pay off. So pretty much like the family, like the estate had to release some of that music to bring in some money to pay off some of those debts. But this is a question because we're living in a time where many artists are passing away way too soon, right? Like, we have like people like Mac Miller, we have people like Lil Peep, so many artists who are passing away. I believe this was even a situation when Prince passed away as well, and his unreleased music. I remember Prince was actually taken off of Spotify and put onto the other app, Tidal, because they own the rights to Prince's music. So the question becomes, like, ethically, can you do that? Can you continue to make money off of an artist now that they have passed away, all right? So in my opinion, and my non-lawyer, just fan of music and movies opinions, I believe that artists, knowing where technology is taking us and all these other situations that we can look at, like, artists need to start making wills, like, now, right? And put in that will, yes or no. Like, can studios, can the family, you know, can the person who is running the estate make these choices to sell the rights to a movie production or like the music industry to say, yes, you can recreate music or you can recreate them in a movie and things like that? Because what they did in this episode of Black Mirror, Rachel, Jack, and Ashley 2 with Miley Cyrus's character, like, there was a scene where they pulled out some music from Ashley, but it wasn't like that pop sound. So what they did was they edited and switched everything around and it became that pop sound, right? So is that disrespectful to the artist to take their music? Like, let's say an artist did have a notebook, right? A notebook, and it had a bunch of lyrics that was never out there. Maybe even if you looked at like rappers, right? Rappers write down their bars and everything like that, and you can recreate their voice. So would it be ethical to take what they've written, recreate their voice, produce a track, and put their recreated voice over that beat? You know what I mean? And in my opinion, without their permission, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because a lot of artists, like, maybe they're not happy with their label. Maybe they're not happy with the music they've been creating. And when people pass away, like, they have a legacy that they're leaving behind, and maybe there's a reason they don't want somebody else tampering with this, especially when we're talking about something that is creative, such as music, right? So the last thing I want to talk about is when I was watching this episode, Rachel, Jack, and Ashley 2, like, I was thinking about the current Free Britney situation, right? So Britney Spears, you've probably heard about that in the news. After she had her famous mental breakdown, she pretty much signed over the rights to all of her decisions over to her father, right? And now there's a lot of things being brought up, like, is she in a state now to manage her own affairs and all those kind of things? So I think this episode kind of touched on that, because there are many people in the industry, and this is why a lot of people are starting to do things on their own and independently, is because when they get into that big corporate world of music, and like you start hearing about industry plants and all of that, like, they're not even really making their own decisions anymore. You see what I mean? So I do enjoy how Black Mirror kind of touched on that as well. But anyways, this is all very interesting to me, and I would love to hear your thoughts on this topic. Do you think it's ethical to do that for entertainment if the person hasn't given permission before they passed away? All right, let me know down in the comments below. But anyways, that's all I got for this video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new, make sure you subscribe and ring that notification bell, because I am making a few more Black Mirror Season 5 Ending Explained videos and seeing what topics we can pull from them, all right? And before I let you go, I wanna send out a huge thank you to everybody supporting the channel over on Patreon. You are all amazing, and if you would like to help support the channel, get involved in our monthly Q&A, get your name in the credits and all that good stuff, click or tap right there, all right? Thanks again so much for watching. I'll see you next time.